Twisting ankles. Okay, let's talk about, hi Grandma, hello, about our feet. So there are a lot of different foot issues that we can have. And so like talking about them individually is just impossible. So I'm gonna make some generic kind of boxes that we can fit in and try to find things that we can probably all benefit from, whether it's using a movement or exercise to make your foot stronger or more mobile or just waking things up. I think the majority of us could benefit from this. But like Summerlin said, if something hurts, if it's pinchy, back off. Like if you're circling your ankle and this part doesn't feel good, just don't go quite that far or skip that section of the circle. And over time, hopefully you'll get more mobility into that side. If you have a ball, tennis ball, lacrosse ball, massage ball, bouncy ball, dog ball, or just your fingers, go ahead and grab that if you have a sec. Yes, Victoria, you got some stiff feet and ankles. So we'll get started here. So what I want to start with is just kind of some awareness, let's see, yes, of some muscles. So you have a bazillion muscles in your feet and ankles. And I think most of us usually just think of like calf. Calf does this, and maybe you think about your plantar fascia, because lots of folks have had plantar fascia pain. But aside from that, like that's all we think about. But there's so much more between going on between these two bones. So FYI, you have two bones in your leg. The tibia, big bone, has that little bony thing on the bottom. And that's really big at the top of your leg. And then the fibula on the other side. That's the other little bony thing you get down there. Between those two bones are tons of little muscles that give you stability of your ankle and mobility. So Summerlin, I think part of the problem is that these muscles are really stiff and not doing a good job of allowing some ease of movement in your leg. So every time you circle your ankle, it gets kind of pinchy and crunchy out there. So as you're walking, I'm going to be really generic here. Some folks are kind of really floppy, and the insides of your feet are like collapsing in. I'm trying to exaggerate, but pretty easy for me because my feet are pretty floppy. And if you have floppy feet and your feet fall in a lot, you might tense everything up and roll to the outside of your foot and tend to walk more on the outside of your foot to make it more stable. Or you might just be more stiff in general and tend to walk more on the outside because of stiffness reasons and not have a lot of ability to rotate in. Or maybe you're perfect, in which case you're probably not here, and you roll through the center of your foot and you have a very good normal foot roll through pattern. I'm guessing you guys aren't here today. So stand up if you aren't already and take a moment and just bend your knees and see how far forward your knees can go while still keeping your heels on the ground. I've been kind of warming up my legs today in preparation of trying to show you guys good form. And so mine are pretty darn good at the moment. So if I drop a line from my knees to the floor, I think I have a good 4 to 6 inches, which is the minimum that research has said that we should have for happy, healthy ankles. So if you're back here, hopefully we can get you a little bit deeper today. And think about like jumping, running, hiking, basketball. This is definitely a movement that people need to be able to do. If you're stuck here, then, and you can't go farther forward with your knees, then we get into this more hip pattern and folks get pain in their hips and back. So that's not great, or makes your knees not responsive, so that causes problems. Oh dear, yes. Okay, So either with your fingers or your ball, let's start to kind of be aware of some of these muscles. So I'm going to turn my foot in like this. If you're in a chair, you can like cross your leg over. And with your ball or fingers, just smash into the meat of your leg. And I'm coming from my shin and going right back to the edge of the meat where it's just behind your shin bone, your tibia. Yeah. And you can use your ball or your fingers and just give that a little mash. And then if you don't already find a sore spot, roll down a little bit and see if you can find something in there that's a little bit stiff and sore. Most people tend to have some stiffness here because these muscles work really hard for us. But ideally, they're not like super rigid, super stiff and sore. If you find a good spot, you can like move your foot a little bit, roll around. So you have some big muscles here, your gastroc. Keep going with the ball, guys, on your fingers if your fingers are okay. And then underneath there, you have another muscle called the soleus. So those are the two main muscles that help you lift onto your toes or point your foot. But deeper than that is a muscle called the posterior tib. If you've had like pain in this area of your body between here, inside of your ankle to your foot, that might be part of the problem. I know some of you know what I'm talking about. Whew. All right, so what you might be feeling is the gastroc. It might be the soleus. Gastroc's up high, soleus a little bit lower, but it might be that posterior tib a little bit deeper between the two bones here. And that's a muscle that helps control your arch. So those of you that are collapsing in your arches, your posterior tib tendon comes all the way into your arch. That gets stretched out and angry every time your foot collapses in. So getting that stronger is the key to success. But first, I think getting things a little bit looser makes your body a little happier and willing to do more for you. So giving a little massage times every once in a while is a good way to start, in my opinion. Whew. Now, massage and passive things never fix anything, so you still got to put the work in. If you're not getting a little sweaty, then you're probably not solving much problems. Ooh. Okay, so that's your inside of your leg. Let's flip over if you haven't already. You just hit the other side. So anyone finding some good knots in here? You can always just use your thumb, knuckles even. Mash in there. It's like you're kneading dough. Ooh, move your foot around, get things going. Some popping. Okay, so let's move along. Hopefully your second leg didn't get too angry that I didn't spend as much time there. Oh yeah. So a few weeks ago, my leg was really angry, and because of like coronavirus, my usual PT wasn't seeing anyone, and it took me a whole week, but I eventually dwindled my own posterior tib. But it was no big deal. But it was definitely happier after I did that. Okay, so if you can sit in a chair for this or sit on the floor like I'm doing. Grab your shin, and then you can let your fingers just sink over top of your leg to keep it pretty still. And let's start with doing ankle inversion and eversion, which is like a side-to-side movement of your ankle. So you can keep your foot on the floor if you'd like. And I'm flexing my foot, which helps me feel the movement. It doesn't have to be flexed, it could be a little more pointed down here. But try to keep your shin completely still and attempt to pivot your foot so that the bottom of your foot is turning inwards and the bottom of your foot is going outwards. If your toes kind of go a little farther, that's okay, but focus on the back of your foot doing the motion. And so those of you that are feeling a lot of effort when your foot goes to the outside, it's definitely because your fibula, bone out here, all the little muscles around there are probably pretty stiff. Most people are stiffer that way. Everyone's normally has less motion going out and in. But if it's like totally impossible, it's definitely something you need to work on. Ooh, might have got a good pop in there. All right, let's try the other foot. So hands on either side of your tibia, relax your fingers over, try to keep your shin completely still, and then rotate your foot inwards, rotate the foot outwards, back and forth. Now I encourage you to go nice and slow, especially into end range, and see if you can really push the edge of your flexibility. And it gives your muscles a little bit of time to like ramp up their contraction, especially if it's something that your body is not accustomed to doing and is not very strong, then your muscles definitely need some time to like wake up and get with the program. Awesome. Hopefully we're having fun doing ankle things. All right, so relax that out. Let's go back to the other leg. You can sit in a chair, you can lie on your back. Just grab your leg and put your opposite hand on your shin. And that other hand that's kind of like sitting there weird like, you can just kind of rest it on your forearm. All right, let's try these ankle circles that Simmerlin was talking about. So as your foot goes to the outside, your fibula might get in the way. So if you're feeling a lot of crunching, crackling, that might be part of the problem. There's some lots of tendons that run actually on both sides of your feet. That could be part of the issue. Let's see what you feel. Make these as big as possible, but avoid the pain and crunchies that are like cringe-worthy. And then reverse the direction. Ooh. I've had like a million ankle sprains on both of my feet from like, I don't know, probably 6th, 7th grade. I'm pretty sure it's a million. I think that's about accurate. So there's lots of crunchies in here. All right, switch sides. Grab the back of your leg. Pop your other hand on your top of your shin. You can let your fingers rest here. Flex and then make a big circle with that ankle. Oh, lots of crunchies. Yes. I don't know if you can hear my crunchies, but they're definitely there. In fact, I had a mini ankle sprain on this side the other day. I just stepped sideways and my foot stayed on the floor and my body kept going a little bit. And no. Reverse the direction. So maybe it's getting better with time. The outer circle makes the inside of the arch hurt. Oh, interesting. Okay, so that could be that posterior tib that we were talking about. It's getting like stretched out. So definitely just don't go to the end range. Maybe work on the inside more, Simmerlin. Okay, switch legs. Hopefully you're starting to feel a little bit of warmth and blood flow in your legs. Okay, so now grab your leg again. Again, you can do it on your back. You can sit in a chair. On the couch works. And then let's just grab your hands and work on rotating your shin in and out. In and out. In and out. Now, most of us have more trouble going in. The in is typically the challenge because everyone lives with their feet out, right? Now, there's a small percentage that's the total opposite. See how far you can go each direction. I'm still popping over here. All right, let's put your heel back down like we did earlier. And now try your rotation of your tibia here so you can pivot on your heel. Rotating clockwise makes a tendon pop on top of foot. Oh, yes. You probably have some sort of like chronic stiffness and irritation there. Do your best, Fleeta. Avoiding the numbness. So hopefully other things we'll do too will help kind of loosen up the whole system. But a rule of thumb is just ignore the parts that are really aggravated and make everything else as good as possible. in hopes that the angry part will get with the program or have more like room to breathe and move. Ooh, okay, switch side. Hopefully that feels a little tired. Let's start with the leg off the floor version. You just grab your hands, flex your foot, and then rotate your shin in and out. Yeah. It's not uncommon to have like one side that's totally different from the other side. So take the time to compare left and right in an internal rotation and external rotation. Right, put your heel on the ground. You can just grab the sides of your knee, relax your fingers, check it out. Internal and external rotation. Pause at each end range to make sure that you're going as far as possible versus just floppy side to side. That's it. Good, shake out those legs. All right, let's get a little more pointed with our ankle. So you can do this in sitting on a chair for sure. So you have your two ankle bones, the bony things on each side, the knobby things. If you put your fingers, like pinch just in front of those on each side and pinch just behind those on the other side, that is probably going to be your talus. And that's kind of the hinge point of your foot. So if you pinch those and then move your foot up and down, hopefully you feel those moving a little bit. And as you point and flex through the ankle, you'll notice that parts of that talus bumps into your fingers more in some places than others. And if you've had PT, then I'm sure with me, I've definitely poked on them for you. But if you can tolerate that pressure of holding on here, as you move your foot up and down, see if you can kind of like seesaw your talus away from you. Just kind of give it a little downward glide each time. So especially if you feel like your ankle is really jammed up, thinking Victoria, this might be you. See if you can feel it slightly creating a little space every time you go up and down. It may kind of be painful when you're touching it, so be nice to yourself, but it's just temporary pain. It's not going to stick around, hopefully. All right, switch sides. All right, so grab just in front of those little bony ankle bumps, just behind. It's really where your ankle hinges, and then try flexing and pointing to see if you feel like you're in the right spot. And then push and seesaw your talus away from you. Now, I'm using my elbow here as well to help me hold this knee down. Otherwise, you have to use more of your muscles in your hip. Which is fine too. Got some crunchies over here. That's it. Okay. All right, so we've done a little bit of massage here. We've done some ankle inversion, eversion, some tibial rotation in and out, and we just worked on our talus for a moment. So stand up and see how you feel with your knee bend now. Does it go any farther, any smoother? And if it does, even a smidge, then you know that you need to work more on those little muscles here and then the ankle joint itself. Anyone make some progress on that? Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, can't tell. Okay, so now let's actually work a little bit more on ankle dorsiflexion, bringing your foot up. You can put your foot on a chair. You can be in kneeling, or you can kind of do this little half squat thing. Let's see if I tip this up. Maybe you can see me better. Yeah, a little bit. Good job, Dylan. Making progress. Okay, so kneeling or a half squat, either way. Plant your feet against the floor. Good job, Summerlin. Awesome. Okay, heel down and then drive your knee forward as far as it'll go without lifting your heel. And again, if your back or hips aren't accommodating this, then you can just come up to a higher position, or put your foot up on the chair. All right, so once we're here, excuse me, I want you to just feel a passive stretch, hopefully, somewhere in your ankle in the back. If you feel a lot of pinching in the front, then maybe back off a little bit. It's really terrible. This might not be quite the thing for you. Coming up to the chair might be an option. You may feel a little bit in the front of the ankle, but if you're just feeling like your bones like doing bad things, just be cautious and careful. So passive stretch. Right now you're essentially doing a passive stretch in this position because we're not working, except that you are using your body weight to get into it. So now let's create a little bit of work and tension. Try to lift your foot up to your shin. And that sounds crazy. And two things are going to happen. As you engage your shin to lift your foot up, it might pull your shin farther forward. Or you need to rock your body backwards to lift the foot, to allow the front of your foot to lift off. So this is going to strengthen your shin, which is going to help keep the back, which is tight probably, a little bit looser. Then rock forward again. Maybe you went a little farther. Let's try that 2 more times. To start to lift your foot to your shin. Try to find your shin muscles, is what I'm trying to say. Then rock back with your body until you can just barely unweight your foot off the floor. Ooh, work, work, work. Good, go forward again. Relax. Every time you go forward, keep a little bit of weight in that heel and see if you can just keep driving your knee forward. Again, avoid the crunchies. Yes. The inner thigh. Similar, I think your inner thighs are just angry and tight, but you may want to adjust your position to lessen the inner thighs, but you're going to feel what's tightest. Okay, so one more time. Pull your foot up off the ground. This should be like hard. If it's easy, then just create more tension and effort. And then rock forward. All right, we might be getting a smidge tired of that by now. So before we get to the other side, stand up, move it around. See if that made a difference. You can probably see that maybe you can't really see. Mine definitely feels a little bit looser on that side now. It's going farther forward. So if you're someone that's having a lot of trouble getting into a deep squat, that could be part of it. It's also some hip and back things as well. Oh my God, Summerlin and Dylan, we're just gonna get some bubble wrap for you guys. Oh wait, wrap your bubble wrap, hand you some tequila. Okay, heel down, drop forward. All right, press a little bit of your body weight into this position. We're on side 2, by the way. The one you didn't do just now. Keep your heel down. And start just to feel like the end range of that position before we go anywhere else. Yes. And then let's go ahead and get the work in. So try to lift your foot towards your shin to engage those shin muscles, which might pull you forward a little bit. That would be nice. And then lift the top of your foot up off the ground and rock yourself back until you can accomplish that. I'm like getting cramp city in here. Ooh. And then rock forward again. So doing some hips and back mobility prior to this would definitely be a good idea for some of you. I haven't thought about that, especially to get into a deep squat. It's really, you can't just isolate one body part. So our bodies work as a system. Here we go again. Lift your foot up off the floor. Rock back. Lift up, 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 up. Ooh. Feel the cramping in your shin. Then rock forward. All right, that's 2. Got 1 more. Breathe. And then lift your foot up, rock back, feel your shin working. So if you think of calf tightness as shin weakness, that might help to think about how you need to balance your body. Like you don't do only biceps and never triceps, you don't do only abs and never back, you don't do only quads and never hamstrings. You gotta have the yin and the yang. Ooh, rock forward. Maybe you went a little bit more deeply into this position. Okay, shake it out, come on up. Whew, we're gonna get to the feet more. Now that we've done more shins and ankles. All right, how does it feel? I think now would be a good time to do a little balance test. So stand on one leg and test out your balance. If you can easily stand on your leg, then let's try something harder like a one-legged hinge, a one-legged squat. And you can even do a pistol squat. Oh, whew, that was a great idea. Test out the other leg. What I'm looking for when you're balancing on one leg is can you keep both your big toe and little toe on the floor? Because if your foot's not responsive and balanced, you're going to end up lifting your big toe off the ground and then like you're just not working your foot anymore. All right, so this is like your midpoint baseline for the day. Okay, you can do these in standing, sitting. I'm gonna do them on the floor. So if you're more comfortable in a chair, feel free to sit in a chair for these. Okay, there we go, you can see me. Okay, so there's a bazillion muscles in your feet, like literally a bazillion. And if you're always in like rigid shoes and you never move your feet, or your feet are just flopping and they never actually have to work, then they're going to be stiff, weak, or both. But we need nice, strong, flexible, responsive feet. So let's see about, can you just lift your toes up and down to start with? I think like a bye-bye baby finger type motion. We don't want curly, crawly toes either. Those are not helpful. Okay, so now can you keep your little toes on the floor and lift your big toe only off the ground? So you can see better. So push the little forward down as hard as you can. Lift the big toe up as hard as you can. And then switch. Big toe pushes down, lift the little toes up. And if you need to like help your toes out a little bit, like hold your big toe down while you lift the little toes up, you can certainly do that. And switch again, little toes down, big toe up. And really you want to do this as vigorously as possible once you get the hang of it. And see if you can hold it there for a while. You can do it standing in your shoes, without your shoes, in line with the grocery store, waiting you're 6 feet apart from someone else. Switch again. You can certainly do this on both feet at the same time to save a little time. Ooh, let's go ahead and switch feet, unless you were doing both toes at the same time, in which case just keep on going. All right, little toes down, big toes up. So much fun. Big toe down, little toes up. And again, if you need to like hold your toe down and lift the little ones, or go ahead and switch again, or lift your big toe up with your finger, you can certainly do that. Switch again, big toe down, little toes up. And then switch again, big toe, little toes down, big toe up. Especially if you're standing, make sure that you're not just moving your ankle and foot to do the work. That's truly coming from your foot. And you might feel your shin too. And the more vigorously that you do the movement, you're definitely going to feel it traveling up your leg and intensity. Like you're going to build more muscle tension up your body. If you really work hard, you might feel your entire body working. Okay, so I think most of you have done this with me. So let's move along. I'm going to do both feet at the same time. If you need to focus just on one foot at a time, totally fine. So let's just try to lift all 10 toes up. And starting with your little toe I'm going to be a terrible demonstrator of this, so maybe I'll use my fingers. Try to spread them out one at a time. Keep them spread out and put them down. And you can relax them together. Lift the toes up. Spread them out, pinky toe first. And then put them down. Now there's a million toe coordination things that we can do. But being able to spread your toes is a good skill, especially folks with bunions. They tend to get stuck in or crossover toes. Sometimes you lose the ability to move them outwards. All right, now do the opposite. Try to squeeze your toes together and notice if they want to curl up. If they curl up, give your toes a break, but try not to. Try to keep the toes long and relaxed. The dog is just helping. Yes, Mr. Leo was down here earlier helping. Good. So just squeeze them together. Good, relax now. It may help to have some feedback. You can put a pin between your toes and give that a squeeze. Bonus points if you can keep a pin upright and squeeze it between your toes. Yeah. All right, hopefully you felt some ability to do both of those. If not, definitely put that on your to-do list to work on the ins or the outs. Okay, let's do some arch strengthening. So again, if you've been around me a while, you probably know these two. Okay, so we're going to try to work the muscle that holds your arch up. To start with, we're going to do an exercise that's not it, but it might help wake up those muscles. So think back to those toe movements and curl your toes in like you're trying to drag the floor under your foot. And again, without curling your toes if possible. See if you can see. Right there. And as you lift, hopefully you feel like the muscles under your foot are starting to work. You should also feel your toe muscles working to drag the toes in on the floor. So this is a good one for this general foot strength, but it's not specific to the arch. So let's do that now. So instead of using your toes, can you just press your big toe into the floor and create that arch under your foot? So lifting more space to create a cave under there. All right, make your cave, and then let's see if you can pick up that toe. Lift it up without your fingers, but your fingers can then help a little bit. All right, so just the arch movement is called short foot, like you're trying to shorten up your foot. So let's then add on a little toe strengthening to make it more fun and to give you something to do. So if you're in a chair, just kind of bend over and grab your toe. Can't reach your toe, just do it without your finger. And, just do active motion versus resistance. All right, so you're going to create that short foot. Toe is up, hopefully. Pull your toe up. A yoga strap would also be a way to do this. And then try pushing your toe down against your hand, but your fingers are not going to let your toe win. Can you keep all that work in there? I feel so much work even into my leg. And then try to lift your toe up off your fingers. Probably won't literally go anywhere because you're already working hard to keep your toe at the top of the range. And then press your toe down against your fingers again. Ooh, weird it'll work. And then try to lift your toe up off of your fingers. So especially if you're running, this is like the end of your run. All complaints from arches must be submitted in writing. All right, let's check that out and go to the other foot. Okay, so we're going to start with the whole foot. Just curl the toes in, but try to keep the toes straight, so it's coming from where the knuckles and your foot meet. This is my silly foot, so it doesn't do it quite as well. And then once you have a sense of just the whole general underside of your foot, let's try just the short foot, which is press the big toe knuckle into the floor, arch your foot up, make that little cave. You can do this in any position, sitting, standing, on one leg, stepping up on the stairs, doing squats, single leg squats. The more you work on it, the better. Okay, let's add on. So lift your toe up. Try to actively lift your toe if possible if the hand can assist. And then press your toe down against your hand. Again, you can use a yoga strap or just if you can't reach your toe, just do it actively. And then try to lift your toe up off of your hand. Good, then again, press your toe against your fingers. So much work. And then again, lift up. And this should be your entire toe, so you might need to make sure you grab far enough under that's not just the tip of your toe. Let's do it one more time. Push your toe down. Then lift your toe up off your fingers. Hold it up. Did you keep your arch the whole time? Yay, yay. Good. Whew. All right, so that's the long arch. Let's do the transverse arch, which is underneath the front of your foot. So clearly this is like a big arch on this side, but under the toes or the front of your foot is a little arch. And so if you've ever had like metatarsal pain, that's because your arch is collapsed. So if you think of like trying to lift up the middle of your foot, letting the outside ones pop down, that's kind of what I'm talking about. It's a pretty subtle arch. I need some dog pics, Dylan. I haven't seen your dog in a long time. Okay, so if you think of making your foot more narrow, like you're trying to fit into a shoe, and keeping the outsides of your foot on the ground, maybe you can feel a bit of a sense of muscle engagement or lifting of the middle. It might be pretty subtle. Squeezing the toes together is part of it, but it's not just the toes. So you have all these long bones in your foot. Try to feel those squeezing in. Then relax. Whew. And then again. Squeeze it in, try to make your foot more narrow. So fun fact, your foot expands over your lifetime and you probably need bigger shoes later in life. Like every decade you should probably really evaluate your shoe size. Not be that person, well, I've always worn this shoe size, so it must be the same, and then you're just suffering with like tight fitting shoes that aren't quite right. And then you can get toe crunchies, curled up toes. Don't be that person. And relax. Woo, switch feet. All right, we're going to narrow those bones. Make that little arch in your foot. Lift. And then relax. And then again, squeeze it in. Make that arch. Yes. And relax. On this foot, my toes gonna curl in. I'm telling them not to, but well, I need to do this more. That's all there is to it. And then relax. Ooh. All right, let's go back to those ankle circles. And some of you that were having some pain, did that make it any better? I'm sure it's still crunchy, guys. But is it any less stiff or any less crunchy? 5 or 10%. And so we've just been working on little foot muscles, and it can make your ankles feel a lot better. All right, stand up again, test out your balance. And if you're getting crazy, feel free to retest those crazy ones. and retest out your squat. See if it feels any different. It might just feel looser, in which case you actually might feel wobblier if you gained a lot of mobility, but now you don't have the strength to hold it up in a dynamic way. Or hopefully I'm hoping it feels better. That's the point of doing this, right? More crunch, but the discomfort is gone. I'll take that. All right, for those of you that are able to get on the floor, we're only going to do one exercise. But your butt's important. So if your feet are floppy, if your hips are weak, you can work on your feet all day long. But if you don't get your butt strong, your hips strong, then I guess it's still worth the effort, but you're totally missing out on half of the benefit. So squeeze your butt, push your hips forward. If you're still with me, reach the top leg out. You can always just stay here. If you're still with me, lower and lift your hips. And what you should be feeling is your bottom butt working like crazy, your bottom hip. It's really sort of the side back of your hip. Whew. All right, I'm already tired. Let's go to the other side. Let's do like maybe 8. Oh, 2 more inches in your squat. Good job, Summer. Squeeze into your side plank. Extend your leg. And then let's go up and down. So single leg squats, single leg bridges, or bridges in general, any side planking, all great for some good butt work. If you can do standing things with good foot positioning, that's great too. Definitely, you just want to work your hips, but if you can do both, like on the floor and upright, you're going to definitely hit all the good spots. Whew. All right, so hopefully you feel like your butt's warmed up. Let's come back up to standing and test out your balance one more time. If you didn't get on the floor with me to do that, just squeeze your butt, lift your abs, and see if that gives you a little better sense of balance. And this is my PSA on how your whole body works together. Core, butt, feet, and breathing too, when I'm breathing on top of that. Ooh. All right, if you have your chair, a desk, counter, a pole to hold on to, let's work our feet a little bit more before we call it a day. So I'm going to grab my ball. If you don't have a ball, you can just do like a little mini tree pose, like from yoga. You want to squeeze the ball between your heels, especially if you know your calves are not the strongest. If you think you have really strong calves, lift one foot off the ground, and with your bottom foot, with your standing foot, press against the ball. And then let's try some heel raises. Now I want the standing heel to be the boss and to be the winner of pushing the the other free foot away versus rocking onto the pinky toe. So the point of this is to train your body to go up and down over your big toe and to use your inner calf, the posterior tib muscle specifically, to support your arch, support your ankle, support your leg. Hopefully you're getting pretty tired by now. I know I am. Yeah, a good goal would be definitely like 20 of these. And then like a great goal would be like 30 of these. Whew, okay. I'm pretty tired of that. I don't know, maybe that was like 15 or 20. All right, so side 2, you can always do the tree pose and just go up and down, or just work on both legs with an imaginary ball if you don't have a ball. Now, as you're doing this, squeeze your butt, lift your core, grow taller. Think like a ballerina. What would a ballerina do with a tiara? Sparkly tiara, shiny lights right on your tiara. You want to lift your head up into the lights. And keep squeezing the inside of your ankle against the ball, against your foot, so that you're rolling up onto your big toe. Ah, all right, hopefully we're getting tired now. Test out your balance one more time. Oh, I feel really stable now because my posterior tib is now doing a good job of holding me up. Good. Now that we're all standing, let's go back to that short foot, your arch, and just make that arch a little bit higher. It doesn't have to be its max. Can you keep that arch up as you shift your weight? Ooh. Then go back, find the arch on the other side, shift your weight. And then if that's getting easy, you can do all sorts of things. Step and find your arch, especially if you're stepping up, maybe on the stairs. And if you want to do things like running and jumping, this would be a good prerequisite skill. So if I can create my arch, jump, and find that same position when I come back down, that would be a good, really challenging strength because your body weight coming down is like way more than your actual body weight force when you land. So that was the nutshell of what I had planned for today. So hopefully you feel like you learned maybe at least a couple of things that you could take home and continue doing. And the video is going to stay up on the page, so you're welcome to come by later and check it out again. Do you guys have any questions? So we worked on shin muscles, feet muscles, ankle mobility, toe mobility, hip strength, balance, all the good things. All right, guys. If you have any questions, hit me up in the Q&A tomorrow. I got a post on the page, so you can drop your questions there. If you haven't already, sign up for my big mat giveaway. I've got all these mats to give away and some Radi classes and a tank top. And you get a mobility class, video access, and you get a coupon for some really cool, hey Jackie. Jackie's got really cool feet too. Get a coupon from Fourth Tree Apparel for some cool clothes. I totally went shopping yesterday for those. And so they should come in the mail any day now. So excited. So anyway, have a good day, y'all. Bye.